Welcome back. Today we will be starting Unit 2.1, which talks about the linear functions in two variables. We are quite familiar with the linear functions ever since you did Algebra 1. So the simplest form we can write in y is equal to mx plus b. This is my linear function. The reason is, if I graph this, it will be a line. So line, linear, right? So the spelling of linear, it is line and then AR is added to it. So that defines a linear function. In the linear function, this form y is equal to mx plus b is called the slope-intercept form. There are various components of y is equal to mx plus b. The m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. And as we have discussed earlier, y-intercept implies when x is 0, what is the value of y. Now, what is a slope? Slope is steepness of a line. How to calculate slope? We can calculate slope by rise over run. What is rise over run? Rise over run is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But what exactly it represents? It says change in y over change in x. Few things you need to keep in mind, because I have seen these as the common mistake. If 0 is in the numerator and any number is there in the denominator, it will be a 0. But if denominator is 0, that is undefined. Understand, 0 is under, that is undefined. Under, undefined. Now, before I show you the graphs of positive and negative functions, what will be the graph of x is equal to a? So a is just a point on the x-axis that will give you a vertical line as the graph. And the vertical line graph implies that it is undefined, because it doesn't satisfy the basic vertical line test. On the other hand, y is equal to b, that means a dot or a point on the y-axis, it will be a horizontal line. And a horizontal line implies that the slope is 0. Now let's talk about how the different graphs will look like. So the first one, it is a positive slope because it is increasing, right? So because it is increasing, it represents a positive slope. Then the second one, it is undefined. We have just explained it. Undefined will be x is equal to any value that will be undefined. So it doesn't satisfy the vertical line test, because on the same x point, there are multiple y, which is not a function. The third one is a negative slope because the function is decreasing. And the last is a horizontal slope. So when we say horizontal slope, we are saying that the slope is 0. So this is the basic that you should know from Algebra 1. Now, building upon this, you have also learned about something called the point slope form. Now, slope intercept form and the point slope form, they are the two ways to write the equation of a linear line. But you don't have to memorize it. You can derive the point slope form easily with the slope. So as the name suggests, point and slope. So we need a point, a coordinate plane, coordinate points, and a slope. So as you know, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If I cross multiply, I will get y2 minus y1 is equal to slope times change in x. And this is nothing but the point slope form. You can rewrite it as y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So this is your point slope form. I personally like point slope form better because I can write the equation in a equation of a line in point slope form and then convert it into a slope intercept form. Let's take another thing, that is the parallel and the perpendicular lines. So how does the parallel lines, I can find the slope of a parallel line just by the given equation. So for the parallel lines, the slope of the two lines will be the same. The slope of the first line will be equal to the slope of the second line for the parallel lines, because the parallel lines will keep on moving next to each other, but they will never touch. On the other hand, perpendicular, the slope of the second line will be the negative reciprocal. right? Because they are perpendicular, they are creating 90 degree. Let's take one example to understand it a little bit more better. So in our example, they are asking us to write two equations of a line, one for parallel lines and the another for perpendicular line. And they want us to write the equations in a slope-intercept form. As I said earlier, it is better to start your equation with the point-slope form and then convert it into a slope-intercept form. It is my personal liking. If you like the other way around, that's totally fine. So the given line is 5x minus 3y is equal to 8, and the given point is -4 and 1. Before we write the equation of these lines, let's rewrite the given line into y is equal to mx plus b. So remember, slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b only. So when we rewrite 5x minus 3y is equal to 8, we should get y is equal to 5/3 x minus 8/3 because we are dividing both sides by -3. Now, after this is done, from this equation, I can understand that the slope of the given line is 5/3. So for parallel lines, the slope of the given line and the equation of the line that you want to write will be the same. So in this case, the slope will be 5/3. So I can use the point slope form y minus y1, mx minus x1. In the question, the points are already given. The points are -4 and 1. So -4 is your x1 value and y is 1. So let's plug everything in this point slope form. Be careful. X1 is negative. So we will use another parentheses. And when negative and negative they interact, they become positive. That will be 23rd and then plus 1 both sides. So your final equation will be y is equal to 5/3 x plus 23/3. This is how you will write the equation of a parallel line. Let's quickly write down the equation of the perpendicular line. So what we have discussed earlier, for the perpendicular lines, the slopes are negative reciprocal. So the given slope from the given line is 5/3. So M2 will be -3/5. Why -3/5? Because you have 5/3 and we just flipped 5/3 into 3/5 and make positive into negative. Now the points will remain the same, -4 and 1. We will just plug it in the point slope form. So if you put it in the point slope form, you will get the answer as y minus 1, -3/5 x. Now be careful with the negatives, -12/5. And in the slope intercept form, it will be -3/5 x minus 7/5. And that's what they were asking for. In the question, they asked you to write the parallel line and the perpendicular line, but in the slope intercept form. Now, why it is important to review everything for extra algebra 2 so that we can apply these understanding with the application. Let's take this example. So take a minute or two and read the question and highlight the important points. So it is given that they purchased the initial equipment. That means when x was 0, then the cost of the equipment was 12,000. And after 8 years, its value was 2,000. So basically, this is a problem for the straight line depreciation. They are showing the depreciation, how the equipment has depreciated over the years. And now they want you to write the linear equation. So for the linear equation, what we need a set of points and we need a slope. So we have, let's assign a variable. So let's say, let y be the value of the equipment. So we said the initial is x1, and the initial is nothing but when we are taking x as 0. Now, after the depreciation, that means after 8 years, that will be 0, 12,000. And after 8 years, it has been, the price is 2,000. So it has depreciated over the years. Now we have two set of points, right? And we need just two set of points to find the slope. So let's find the slope. So we can say 2,000 minus 12,000, because y2 is, if x2 is 8, then y2 is 2,000. And then 8 minus 0, that will give you negative 1,250. Now we have the points. You can take either of the points. You can take either 0, 12,000 or 8, 2,000. I would like to take the first one because it has a 0 and it will make my life a little bit easier to write the equation. So y minus 12,000 is equal to slope. Slope we just calculated as a negative 1,250, x minus 0. Let's clean this up. Yes, remember, we assigned the variable as uppercase y, so I will replace it with uppercase y. So uppercase y is equal to negative 1,250x plus 12,000. So this is the one kind of a practical application of the basic concept of slopes and writing the equation of the line. I hope it made sense. I will see you in the next video.